Hey, lovely people. Welcome back to another episode. Today, I have the pleasure of interviewing Ash. I met Ash on the Sunshine Coast. Both of us went to a walk, talk, and work girls event that basically is a group of women on the coast who walk together, talk, get to know each other, talk business, all of the things. Ash is an online coach. She focuses on working with women around their body composition and their mindset. And today she's going to share all of the juicy details of how did she get to where she is today. Obviously, there's been some messy middle along the way, but the thing that I love about Ash is that she's the kind of person who just trusts her intuition and is okay with taking messy action. Let's get into it. Hey Ash.
Hello.
Thanks for coming on my potty.
You're so welcome. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Can you give everyone a rundown, an overview of who is Ash?
So my name is Ash and I am an online coach, primarily focused in health and fitness. So I have my certified nutrition coaching and personal trainer course, and I come from sort of a PT background. I used to work as a PT on the gym floor. Now I work fully online and I focus on women's body recomposition coaching. So sort of the women that are looking to drop body fat and build muscle mass at the same time, get that sort of toned look. That's what I'm here for. I'm your gal. And I also do quite a bit of like mindset content, love all of those sort of things. I've spent a lot of time working on my mindset, investing in coaches to work my mindset, going to retreats, courses, all of that sort of thing. That's my jam.
Amazing. Yeah. And I guess you haven't been doing this forever. So tell me about, where did this all start? How did you come to doing what you're doing now?
Essentially, I feel like growing up, like I always knew I didn't want to do the normal thing that everyone does. I went to a private school. Everyone was going off to university. Everyone was studying really hard. I want to do this. I want to do that. And little 17, 18-year-old me was like, no way am I going to university. And I think growing up in a household, my parents were both teachers. I didn't like that idea of like what they did for work. Like it just didn't entice me at all. And I was like, I'm not going to university. Like a lot of my friends are doing teaching and nursing. And I was like, that is not for me. I don't know what I want to do with my life.
Where do you think that comes from? Where do you think the resistance? Because Alana, who I interviewed a few episodes back, she was very much the same. Did not want to go on that standard path. Uni was just not for her. So what was it for you?
I've always just sort of had this like, I want to do something different. Like I don't want to just follow the crowd. My mum as well really has been so supportive in that. She's always kind of said, do whatever you want to do. Like you don't have to do this. She ended up working in like pathways. Okay. So getting people into different jobs through like vet courses. So it kind of opened my eyes, I guess, to, okay, I don't have to go to university to do whatever I want to like end up doing. And I think as well, like I've also been very set in my ways. If I'm doing something, I'm doing it. Yeah. And so a lot of people my age, especially I think when you're so young, people just go to university because it's the thing to do.
Yeah, it's, so a lot of them do it.
Yeah, they're all like, oh, well, I don't really know what I'm going to do, so I'm just going to do a nursing degree so I've got something. And to me, that was wild. I was like, no way am I going to university, spending all this money, getting this massive like HECS debt for something that is like maybe this is what I want to do, but I'm not sure. Yeah. So that was never really an option. So like I think when I was like younger, I was like university is the only way to go anywhere in your life. But then once I probably got to more high school age, looking at finishing school, I was really, no, not for me. So I was actually in the library one day in like a study period, free period. I saw this poster on the wall. It was like, be an au pair in America. And I was like, I don't even know what that is, but I love America. Yeah,
I'll go.
So let me Google this. So I Googled it. I had a bit of a look and I just had this like intuitive, like this is for me. This is what I'm doing. And I remember I went home, like I spent the whole study period just researching this, went home, said to my mum, I'm going to move to America. I'm going to be a nanny. I'm going to live with an American family for a year. This is what I'm going to do after school. I'm going to take a gap year. I think in my head, like I was always probably taking a gap year at minimum anyway. So this was like, I was almost sort of looking for what to do with the gap year. And then this came along and I was like, wow, that's exactly what I want to do. I love children. So this was just perfect. I think mum was kind of like, yeah, whatever. You're 17. You come home one day and say you want to do something, like, sure. And then
that's
it was
amazing
like,
you had that support, right? Because a lot of people, their parents are really like helicopter in a way of like, no, you have to go to uni.
Yeah.
You're not successful if you don't go to uni, which is interesting that your parents come from teaching backgrounds. They've gone to university.
Yeah.
And that they were so like, no, you'll be fine if you go.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Absolutely. My father actually passed away when I was 16.
Mm.
And I think if he was around,
maybe different.
A different story.
Yeah.
I've always been very like entrepreneurial. When I was 16, 17, I was doing people's makeup. I had like Makeup by Ash, and that was like my little business. But I was doing like grad makeups and all of that. Like at one point I was like literally like booked out. And so I've always been like, I want to do my own thing. But I remember even when I was doing makeup, my dad was kind of like, yeah, but what do you want to do as a real job? You can't do that forever.
Because a real job is not doing any kind of freelancing or anything out of the norm or the status quo. It's like university, safety, that kind of job.
100%. I think if dad was around, I don't know if he'd quite approve. I'd probably still be hearing things to this day of like, oh, I don't know if you should be working online. Like definitely would have had a bit of pushback.
Yeah.
But I've also been very like, I'm always stood my ground. Like if I want something, I'll do it.
I love that.
I'm not going to not do something just because my parents don't agree.
Yeah. But to have that trait from being a teenager, like I feel that a lot of people in high school don't know what they want to do. They're looking to be led and they just do what the expectation is. But for you to have that intuitive sense, like you said, and the drive to just do what felt good to you, I think that's really cool because not a lot of people have that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I agree. I had so many people from my year group just go and do.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I should
did
do
that.
this. Yeah.
I did that.
Exhibit A.
Yeah, Exhibit A. And then here we are now in full circle. I probably should have just done what you did from the beginning. So tell us about being an au pair overseas, because I know you were there for a couple of years. You worked with a few different families. What was that like?
It was amazing. Literally the best thing I could have ever done, because I grew up in this hometown. Like I said, my parents were teachers. So it was very much like everyone knew me as their daughter. And I always had this feeling of like, I'm sick of everyone referring to me, especially the school I went to. My dad was quite high up in the staff. So it was, everyone knew me, that's Mr. Murphy's daughter. I was like, I don't want to be known as Mr. Murphy's daughter. I want to be known as me, Ashlyn. Like I am my own person. I'm not just a daughter of someone.
I love that.
So I was like, I just want to get out of this town, like start fresh. And then I think as well, having my dad pass away and him being so well known, I also had a bit of like, oh, everyone just knows me as the girl whose dad died kind of thing. Like I was like, I want to run away, start a new life.
To that. Yeah, that would have been really hard.
So pack up my stuff, go to America. It was all like a bit of a fever dream, I think, until I got to the house of the first family I was living with. And I had this one vivid memory of, we pull up in their driveway in New York in the middle of nowhere, and I'm standing in their garage. The kids are asleep in the car. These kids that I'm about to have like full 45 hours a week looking after. And I just thought to myself, oh my God, what have I done? What have I done? Like, I can't back out now. Like, no, this is it. Like, you're in. I'm here. I'm in New York and I live here. Like this is my house now. And I've lived in the same house my entire life. I've never moved once.
It's almost like you didn't anticipate or think really about the reality. It was almost like the idea and the poster and the vision and the exciting parts of it, but then you sort of hit you like a ton of bricks.
It hit me and I was like, wow, don't know anyone, don't have any family, don't have any friends. Oh my God.
Yeah, how did you manage that?
That was one of the best things that came out of it, was that I quite quickly, or not so quickly, I guess, learnt that I have to go out of my way to make friends. Because when you grow up in a small town and you play sports, you go to school, you just know everyone. And up until the age of 18, your friends are just whoever has been around at school, at sports, with your family friends. You never have to make your own friends. So that was one of the biggest shocks. I don't have friends just handed to me. Like I get to go out and consciously choose who I want to be friends with. Like this is so weird. And so the first like couple months, I was just like chilling. I was just by myself. And then it kind of hit me. I was like, oh, I got to do something. Yeah. I got to put myself out there. Like I got to go to things. I got to meet people. I got to.
And you're still young. Like you were only, how old were you at this point?
I was 18.
You were 18. Yeah. That's a scary thing to be living
terrifying
overseas in the US. You don't know anyone. Yeah. And you're also needing to go out and make friends.
Yeah. I was lucky the program I went through, they would do like monthly meetings where you could, or like the au pairs in the area would come and meet together. So that was how I did make most of my friends. Like 99% of my friends were other au pairs.
Can I ask, what's the main difference between like an au pair and a nanny? Because to me, they're very similar. What's the
So
difference?
au pair just essentially means like you're a live-in nanny.
Right.
So I'm living with the family. I have my own bedroom. That's just sort of what they're referred to in America.
Okay.
Like that's just the name of them, I guess. Right. Whereas if you said you had a nanny, it's probably someone that comes to your house every day.
Comes and goes. Yeah. Okay. Does their own thing. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you go making friends, building connections over there?
Like I said, it was a bit rough to start with because I was like, oh, like this is on me. I've got to do that myself. Naturally, sort of over time, I did end up making some really good friends. Like I'm still really close with one of my best friends from over there. I'm about to go over. She's living in Bali at the moment.
Amazing.
I was there for 12 months in New York. And then I decided I wanted to stay a bit longer because I was like, oh my God, I love this. And I thought if I'm staying, I may as well make the most of it and have a new experience. So you could extend your contract like with the existing family or you had the opportunity then to move to a new family. So I decided to do a 6-month extension, find a new family, and I ended up with a family in Oregon. The dates just so happened to work out that I was planning to move to this family in Oregon in March 2020, which
COVID.
if you know, yeah. Come March, we're like 2 weeks into March or not even, and I, now looking back, definitely had COVID. I was dying. And it was right before it really broke out. Like it must have been the month before March. And we'd been on an overseas holiday, come back through, we'd been through like Miami airport, JFK, back to our house. I was sick as a dog, didn't know what was wrong with me. It was just coming out that there was like this coronavirus.
Wow.
I went
so
to
you
the
would have
doctor.
been like one of the patient zeros
Yeah.
even.
Well, I went to the doctor and he was like, oh, so you actually have a runny nose, which is not a symptom at the time. It was just a cough. He's like, we have very like scarce tests for this new virus. I can't test you. I think you just have a upper respiratory infection.
Okay.
It's like, yeah,
and you were dying.
I definitely, looking back, had COVID. So that threw a spanner in the works because I was like meant to be moving. Everyone was like, go home, go home, go home. And I was like, I don't want to go home. Like I want to ride this out. And I was like, right, I either move to this new family that I don't know and be locked down with them, or I fly home. But I was kind of like, why not try? Like I'll just go to this family and see what happens. And it was honestly the best thing I could have done. We lived in Oregon, which is beautiful for anyone that doesn't know it. It's sort of above California. So it's on the other coast. Where we lived was just beautiful. We lived on the river in like a secluded sort of just out of the city, so out of Portland. I could not have picked a better place to be for COVID. I had my own studio apartment on top of their garage. So I wasn't locked down with anyone per se. Like I still had my own kitchen, bathroom, etc. But then it was summer. So instead of being in Australian winter, I was over there in the sun. I was going kayaking. Like
well,
I didn't meet many people. Yeah. I spent 6 months basically confined in this like one area, but it was still one of the best 6 months of my life while the rest of the world was like
lockdown, and particularly in like apartments and things. That would have been horrific.
And I'm still in touch with both families today. Like I love them, love the kids, love the families. Like it was one of the best things I could have ever done.
So what made you come home?
My passport was expiring and my visa was expiring. That's why I could only extend for 6 months. I had less than 30 days to get out of the country.
Okay. So
and I was
quick
like,
decision.
I don't even know if I'll be let on the flight home because my passport is
so
on the
close.
brink. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then I had to do hotel quarantine. COVID was the start for me of really diving into sort of personal development, mindset, all of that. I remember buying a book during COVID when I was living in Oregon called Make Your Bed. And I started making my bed. Yeah. At the time, living in the US, I'd put on a lot of weight. And that was when I was sort of thinking like, I need to get my shit together. I need to fit into my clothes. Because at the moment, everything's a squeeze.
You were having a good time when you were over there.
Yeah. I was really taken in the cultural.
Was that when you then went into PT? So like COVID happened. Like talk about getting into PT to begin with, because I know you were working in a gym first.
Fast forward, I come home from Oregon. I think coming home to my hometown was a massive shock. It hit me as to how much I'd changed, not just like mentally and grown as a person, but physically my body and how big I was. I have always struggled with like body dysmorphia. And so when I was bigger, I didn't realize how big I was, but it was like coming home and being in my home environment and surrounded by everyone. I was like, I have really put on weight.
Did anyone say anything to you? Or you?
I think
This
my
was
mum
just
had made
your...
a few comments
Yeah.
of like, even when she came over to visit me, I was noticeably bigger. And I think I was just more self-conscious because I was walking around town. I was like, oh, everyone knows me.
Yeah.
Whereas like, you're nobody in New York.
Yeah.
You're just walking around.
No one knows you.
I did a 45, like 45-day challenge or whatever it was. Dropped a bunch of weight, maybe like 8 kilos or something.
Wow.
Not healthy
I
at
was
all.
going to say, was it their meal plan and things that you followed, or did you sort of do your
I
own?
sort of did my own, but this whole time since I was like 14, I've struggled with like binge eating and like restrictive eating, all of that. So then when I lost the weight, it was pretty much me just like not eating carbs.
Yeah.
So unsustainable, and I just ended up skinny fat, essentially.
Yeah. Like a lot of women, I feel like that's so common because
Yeah.
of diet culture that we've been brought up in. Carbs are no good.
100%.
Restrict yourself, binge eating and things. So yeah.
That's literally how I've ended up in like specializing now in body recomposition, is because so many women think I just need to lose fat. And it's like, you're not going to be happy if you lose body fat. You want to actually build muscle and have like build shape. Like you can completely change the way you look. There's, when I first lost weight, like compared to how I look now, I pretty much weigh the same on the scales and my body's completely different. I'm a completely different size in clothes. I look so much better. I feel so much better. Then I was living in Brisbane, decided to do a TAFE course online while I was working full time. I just did a diploma of business because I, again, entrepreneurial kind of mind. I was like, I don't know what I want to do. I feel like I should study. I don't know what to study. I'm just going to do business because I liked business at school. And I just,
That's going
I
to
kind of
apply
wanted
to a lot of
something.
things.
Yeah. Fast track through that though. That took me a year. I got that, decided I need a real job.
I need a real job.
I saw the company I went to America through as an au pair was hiring in marketing, which is what at the time I really wanted to get into, was social media and marketing, which was proving very difficult in Australia with no qualification other than like a business diploma. I applied for this job based in London and I got it. So I moved to London. All really happened like super fast, really random. When I got that job, it was from a place of, I was like, I'm manifesting this. Like, I'm going to get this job. Everyone around me was like, you're crazy, you're delusional. You're not going to get a job in London. You've got no experience. On paper, there was like no reason these people should hire me because it's London. Imagine how many applicants there is in London that you can hire to fill a job.
So what did you do?
I applied with a TikTok. I made a whole TikTok. It just said like apply with a creative version of a resume kind of thing. So I made a TikTok like, this is why you should hire me.
Yep.
And I sort of went through and I was like, I've been an au pair and, you know, I put all these cool like fun edits in there and all this stuff. And before I knew it, I was having my first interview. Then I was having my second interview. I'm meeting their like president and I was like, well, this is real.
It's happening.
I actually applied for a job in London and I actually might get it.
That is so cool.
Skip forward like a year and a half later, I went to London, worked for them, ended up actually leaving that job. During this whole time as well, still doing like sort of mindset things, personal development, really diving into coaching, like being coached by other people. Then we had like a shift in management at work and I was not happy with the way that things were run, the way that I was like being treated, spoken to. And I was just like, that's fine. I'll go. Like,
I don't need you.
I actually would rather not be here. Like, if you're going to speak to me like that, treat me like that, if you don't like see my value, I'm gone. So off I went. I quit my job. I had no job lined up afterwards. I literally just quit. And I was like, I trust the universe. It's all going to work out.
Well, it has up until this point. Like everything you've shared, it seems like that you trust your intuition, and when you do it, works out. Yeah.
I've done it so many times now. I've like built the evidence to know that it does work out. So it's like you always need to take like these tiny steps. It's like whatever's a push for you at the time or like a stretch, you can always stretch further afterwards. So it's like you do something that's a bit of a leap outside of your comfort zone. And then once you prove to yourself that you did it, it all worked out okay, it's going to be okay, you're going to be okay, the next time you want to do something, it's a little bit easier because you've built the evidence, and then you can stretch yourself a little bit further. And it's like without doing all of these things and compounding them and having that evidence there, you know, if someone was watching this and they think, oh, I want to quit my job, but they've never taken any type of leap,
any type of
that's
risk,
going to sound so scary. But it's like the more often you do it and you build yourself up to be able to do these things, before you know it, it feels normal.
Yeah. And it's that confidence too. Like that's how you build confidence. And we were talking about about this the other day, in that confidence is not something that just happens. You have to build it in a way where you build evidence and you do these small things, whatever it is, that you then can turn around and go, okay, I've done multiple things. I feel confident. I feel good in doing it. And if you're someone from afar going, well, I'm not confident, I couldn't do that. I'm not confident, I couldn't move overseas and, you know, shoot my shot with a TikTok video to get a UK job. It's like, okay, well, if you have that belief, it's not going to happen. But like you said, if you keep giving yourself evidence that you can do little things, then when it gets to the bigger ones, I love that.
Yeah.
That's so true.
1,000%. It compounds. Like it really does. So then I sort of ended up, I was working for myself doing UGC, so user generated content, similar to what I was doing when I was working for them, but I was just freelancing out to other companies in the UK. And then I was also nannying 3 days a week, which was amazing. Best job ever. I was working 3 days a week and earning the same money as I was 5 days a week at my office job.
Can you tell us a little bit about the, what's it called, UGC content? Because I know that when I was looking into what else can I do out there, my mindset towards jobs of the world were the standard university jobs. And I knew people worked online, but I had no idea of the different avenues you could go down. And I know a lot of people out there think that a lot of things online are a scam and, oh, how are you making all this money? But I know that you did pretty well when you were doing that sort of work. So just, give us an overview. What is it? How do people make money from creating these videos?
So UGC stands for user generated content. And at the time, I don't think it existed in Australia. Okay. It was quite big in the UK, especially being London based, I think was great for me at the time. But essentially it's where you create content and it's user generated. So a lot of ads perform well on social platforms like your Facebook, Instagram and stuff. Obviously you see ads pop up and it's people using a product. So you could see an ad come up on your feed and it's someone using this, face moisturizer. Like, oh my God, this face moisturizer, guys, like it's literally changed my life. And as a consumer, you watch that video and you think that brand's just reposted someone's video where it's like a review or something. Yeah. Chances are they've paid that person
to do it. Yeah.
But because it's not an influencer, it's just a regular, like a user, everyday person, you have that relatability of like, oh, that's just an everyday person just like me in their house. That's not the perfect background. That's not the influencer's multi-million-dollar mansion. Like you can almost see yourself in that person and you're more likely to then purchase the product. Yeah. So a lot of companies outsource these videos and get people to create ads for them. You're a content creator, but you're not an influencer by any means. A lot of these brands that you work with, you don't post them to your own socials. Okay. They just pay you to have the video.
Okay. And then they use it.
And then they use it.
They use it and they make money from it.
Yeah.
Right. So can you do this kind of content without showing your face? Because I know that there's a lot of things that I see on Instagram where you can make money online. You don't have to see your face. It's faceless. Is this the kind of thing that's faceless or is that a different?
Depends. It can totally be. Yeah. Like it's up to you. I think a lot of brands like to have someone in it, like that personal.
Yeah. Well, like relatability, like you said.
Yeah. But then you can do product videos. Like you could just do unboxing videos or ASMR video where it's like just a setup where you could literally have a white wall, a white tile that you buy from Bunnings and you sit a product in there with a ring light and you film a video unboxing it and you could earn a couple $100. And it's one of those things where it's like, it sounds easy and I'm sure very similar to probably the route that you went down. You can be very successful in that and you can make a lot of money from it. But what a lot of people don't realize is they think that they can just enter straight into it and make money straight away and not put the work in.
And then what happens when they start and they fail in the first couple of weeks? Yeah. They quit.
Yeah. I could turn around and be like, oh my gosh, I think I made like $800 from like 30 minutes of work filming videos, 3 videos for Marmite, like the Vegemite brand.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. That's so random. If you'd asked me what brands, I wouldn't have thought of that.
Yeah, super random. And people would be like, oh my God, like that's crazy. You made that much money in that amount of time, whatever. But what you don't see is like some nights I would stay up till 9 p.m. and I would send 100 DMs to different brands being like, here's my portfolio, work with me. And nothing. You might get one brand's reply. And especially now, it's a lot more saturated. At the time, it was a bit more, I don't know. I think these days it's probably like because it is so well talked about. It's well known. Yeah. There's more people wanting to do it.
Social media is everything. The internet is everything. That's where it's a whole world from there. It's all marketing, sales. People don't even, I think we've moved away from using it as a way of just sharing and communicating to, it's business. If you have any, like, I mean, you exactly, like you sell yourself through your stories and Instagram in a way where you might not be selling a product, but you are your product, you are your brand. Personal branding is really big at the moment. So, but you're right. It feels saturated.
Yeah. 100%. So yeah, it's one of those things, like if you want to do it and you put the hours, you put the work in, and you know that it's not an overnight, success. I think as well, I came from marketing. I was working in content creation. That's literally what I was doing at my 9 to 5 previously. I was creating TikToks for brand, like this brand I was working for, and I had the experience there. I knew how to put together my portfolio. I knew how to film a video, do the audio. I had the little mics. Like I kind of was coming from a good place to begin with, if that makes sense.
And
like
you
I
also enjoyed it, like, because you still enjoy doing it now, like parts of it.
I still work like occasionally with a few brands. I have brands here and there that I'll work with, or sometimes if I just want something, I'll reach out to a brand and be like, hey,
do you want a video? Okay, so had the UK job, quit the job. What happened then?
So my nanny job finished up. So I was doing that alongside nannying. The only reason that family ever wanted a nanny is because they couldn't get her into preschool. So they eventually got her a spot at a preschool, and they were like, we're so sorry. Like we have to let you go. Low-key heartbroken because she was amazing. So I backpacked Europe for 3 months by myself, which was...
I didn't know that. That's news. I don't think we've talked about that yet.
Definitely one of those times where it was like, put yourself in the uncomfortable position and do it anyways. I'd done quite a bit of solo traveling. I was well traveled and had solo traveled. Obviously, I lived overseas.
I was going to say, I consider you've done years of it.
Still terrifying going like Europe by myself. I booked half the trip, and the second half of the trip, I had nothing booked. Sometimes, like I remember the one day I was crossing the border into another country on a bus. I was like an hour away from the city that I was going to, and I realized I hadn't even booked a hostel for that night. So I was like, I hope there's space. I'm on a bus to this place. It was pouring down rain and I don't even know where I'm staying, and I get there in an hour. Like it was, I think I learned a lot about myself and built a lot of just like self-trust.
I was going to say trust massively, because you were sink or swim in a lot of scenarios where it was like, you're just going to make it work. Yeah,
exactly. So that was, quite the experience. Then I moved back to Australia, had Christmas with my family, moved back with my mum, which was so testing, like coming back to your, childhood bedroom in this tiny town where there's nothing to do, nothing's open. Everyone has the same old mindset, friends, etc., that they've always had. And you just kind of feel like a bit of an outsider.
Yeah.
And I was like, what am I doing with my life? What am I going to do? I loved the UGC stuff, but essentially coming to Australia, I lost almost all the brands I was working with. A lot of them couldn't even send their product to Australia. Like I worked with a supplements company. They weren't allowed to send products to Australia, like legally. They literally couldn't send me stuff. I worked with like a meal prep company. They're obviously not going to send their meal prep meals to me in Australia.
I mean, why not? Pop it on a plane, whack an ice pack in there.
And so I was like, what am I going to do? This whole time I've been working out, going to the gym consistently. It was the one thing that never slipped. Like the last, 2 years of me moving overseas, doing all that, I don't think I missed 1 week at the gym unless I was traveling. That had always been like my passion. I spent a lot of my free time just learning about it. Like I loved like listening to podcasts and learning as much as I could, that when I decided to do my PT course and I got into it, I was like, I already know all this. I've already studied this in my own time. So I was kind of like, do I go into PT or not? It's a hobby, and so many people say don't turn your hobby into a passion. So
really?
Like, have you not heard that?
No, I thought the whole point was to find a hobby that find something you're passionate about and find a way to monetize it.
Well, so I was in two minds.
Why did people say that? I'm curious.
A lot of people say that as in like, don't go into it because you'll end up like resenting it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess because if you are going to monetize a passion, you're more than likely going to create your own business around it.
Yeah.
Business can be difficult, ebbs and flows. So maybe you lose... I can see both sides. So
I think there's definitely been times where I've been like, should I have done this?
Yeah.
Like I don't know if I still had the same passion and love for it. Like sometimes I am just going to the gym to tick a box.
Yeah, okay.
Equally, that would have been the same back then anyways.
Yes. And I think too, like I always I've taken a bit of a break from CrossFit, but it was always the rule of thirds. Like a third of the time I was going to love it. I was going to feel really strong, amazing. Third of the time it'd be dog shit, wouldn't be able to lift anything and I'd feel like crap and hate it. And the other third is kind of the in the middle. So I think
it's like
sometimes going, you just kind of go because it's part of the plan, and regardless of how you feel, like you go.
Yeah. Follow the plan, not your feelings.
Well, I think Layla Hormozi's one is one that fuck how you feel and stick to the plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like you've got to have it because it's so true. Like, and I would argue, particularly women, like we are on emotional roller coasters, like depending on where you are in your cycle, that's a whole thing. But if you try to make decisions based on how you feel, you will quit things, you will stay in your comfort zone. It's like you've kind of got to map it out and then just do it as you go, regardless 100%. Of how you feel.
Making decisions from where your future self wants to be. That's what I always come back to. It's like the other morning, for example, I woke up and I was like, I'm so tired. I don't want to go to the gym. I want to stay in bed. And I don't usually feel like that. Yeah. And so I was like, should I? Listen to my body.
It's so easy in the morning to feel like that. Yeah. You wake up and cortisol levels are like...
I'm usually pretty good. I usually just roll out of bed and I'm like, let's go. Yeah. Like I just don't even give it a second thought. But for some reason this morning I was like thinking about it, and it's like if you keep making decisions from where you currently are, you're going to stay where you are.
Absolutely.
But if you make the decision from where the hottest, most successful version of yourself would make a decision from, that's how you get to become the hottest, most successful version of yourself.
And it's in that moment that you have to recognize that you don't want to get up, and it's like, well, you can stay in bed, but then that's going to create evidence. Like you were saying before, it's like you either create evidence that's going to propel you forwards, or you continue to create evidence of staying the same or behavior patterns or limiting beliefs, and you will just burrow into that
100%.
And then you'll stay stuck.
Yeah.
So tell me about Coach by Ash Murph. What are we doing now? What's business like? You're working remotely.
So I did 6 months on the gym floor. I always knew I wanted to work online, and that was my kind of end goal. And I also always knew I wanted to move up to the coast. As I said before, London, I was living in Brisbane. So I always wanted to move back up this way, be closer to the beach. So I sort of went into PT with that in mind of like, I'll either work in the gym up there or I don't know, it'll sort itself out. But long-term goal, work online. World Gym was opening in Bathurst at the same time I was ticking off my qualification. So I was kind of like, signed from the universe. I'll work here for 6 months. So I signed a 6-month contract. I always sort of knew in the back of my mind, after that 6 months, I wanted to move up the coast. Yeah. I don't think I thought I would be working fully online. I think in my head I was kind of like, I'll just find a gym up there.
Another gym.
Do it up there.
Can I ask, how did it work with clients? Because I know a lot of people will work in gyms as PTs. Do you get paid per client? You just get paid a salary? What does that look like?
You pay the gym to work there.
Oh.
And a lot of people don't realize this. As a PT, it's different. Some gyms, it is through the gym.
Okay.
I think Anytime Fitness works like that. You just get an hourly rate. It's like $30 an hour or something, which it's like, if you're going to go to the qualification, you're doing physical labor for $30 an hour. You could work at Woolworths for $30 an hour. What do you mean?
Could pack shelves. There's a physical labor.
But in saying that, then it doesn't come with the responsibility, which is what I think people like and go to jobs like that, like PT jobs like that, is you don't have the responsibility of paying your rent. So at World Gym, I was paying rent. So you pay literally rent per week. And so it's up to you to, at a minimum, be making how much rent that is, which it varies from gyms, anywhere from like, I'd say 150 maybe if you're part-time would be a pretty good deal. If you're full-time, like 5 days a week, which a lot of gyms only offer 5 days a week, it can be anywhere up to $450 a week.
Wow.
So you're needing to bring in X amount of clients for X amount of sessions just to cover your rent. You haven't made $1.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you know what I find really interesting about that in the episode I've just put out, salary versus commission, is that salary rolls is you know what you're getting, and the effort that you put in does not, your pay does not reflect the effort you put in. But when you're in a situation where you have to make it work to make money, because how your skill set is, how many clients you bring in is how you're going to get paid. So would you say that being in the industry and working alongside other PTs, that there is a big difference between PTs who have to make it work and the ones who just kind of work on the gym floor and get paid hourly?
I don't know that many personally that do the paid hourly part. I don't think you would simply wouldn't have the same drive because your clients aren't necessarily your clients. Yeah. They're the gym's clients, and you're just being paid by the gym. I think a lot of people that end up in those positions, it's kind of like they're just personal training because it's a job.
Okay.
Whereas I think if you're going to the effort to pay rent in a gym and you're going kind of above and beyond, like they're my clients, like this is my business, you're coming to me, the only thing we have in common is that I'm paying the gym and you're paying the gym for membership. Like that's pretty much,
but otherwise
that's how the gym comes into it, but that's the only way that the gym's even associated with it, if that makes sense.
You just use their gym, you use their space.
That was definitely, like, it was scary. Absolutely. I was thinking, oh my gosh, I have to pay the gym money and I don't have a single client. What do you mean? This is wild.
So what did you do? Because you obviously didn't quit.
No, absolutely. It was good because the gym was opening. I was like, okay, this is a good chance because there's only a handful of PTs. There's new people coming in. There's not already been PTs here before kind of thing. So I kind of, from that point of view, was like, okay, like gives me a bit of a something to work with. Honestly, I don't even think I knew what I was doing. The only thing I knew how to do was actually train someone. But when it came to running the business, not a clue.
And so I think so many people do that. They get into business because it's a passion or it's something that they like to do. But there is all aspects of business that you have to learn to be successful in it, to do the thing. Because if you don't know sales and marketing and onboarding and all of that component, working with clients, if you can't get them to you, then you've got nothing to do with them. Even just, going through like bringing clients in for like sales and stuff, like I'd be like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. I can't sell myself to this person. And the first few people that signed up, I was like, wow, someone actually wants to pay me. Like, what do you mean? And it was definitely a learning curve and learning experience. Like I feel like I learned pretty quickly of what to say yes to, what to say no to. I only opened my calendar at times that I wanted to work. So I didn't go to the gym in the middle of the day. I wasn't going to train one person at lunchtime because that's when their lunch break was. I'd rather not have a client. That's not worth my time and money schedule
to drive. It was a 15-minute drive from my house. That takes 2 hours out of the day. By the time I drive out there, get there before their PT starts, have a session ready for them, take them through it, drive myself home. I feel like I was quite clocked on from that point of view. I very much would offer someone a time before I just said, what time suits you? I'd be like, hey, I've got this time available. Does it work?
And you need to, because it's very much who has frame in the scenario. And if you hold the frame as the business owner or the salesperson, because that's basically what you're doing when you're working with clients, if they hold the frame, they are going to fuck you around and they're going to think that your time doesn't matter and your time isn't valuable. Whereas you saying to them, I'm free here or here, what suits you? And if they say no, or if that doesn't work, or they want a time that you're not available and you hold your like stance on I'm not available, it'll need to be later, they're going to see you as authority in that you respect your time. And they're naturally going to be more inclined to respect your time, because that's what I've learned dealing with fucking people in sales, is that if you don't assert, not in like a bitchy way, but if you don't assert your authority in your calendar and your time and your energy, people don't give a fuck. I have to call people out who show up late to a call. Might be 5 minutes, but I'm like, hey, like we were scheduled 5 minutes ago. Like, is everything okay? Oh yeah, I was just did it. Because otherwise we set the tone that your time is more valuable than mine. And like you knew that from the beginning, which is good, because a lot of business owners and people don't have that boundary from the beginning.
From a business and marketing perspective, I knew what I was doing, but equally there was definitely a lot of things I didn't know what I was doing. I think compared to a lot of people going into personal training, their history and where they've come from typically isn't similar path to where I came from. So I think that helped me also, just having like the socials. And by this point, I've already invested probably 5 figures into my personal development, mindset, coaching, all of that. I'd already like bought extra courses on business and I hadn't even started my business. So I was very invested in that. And I think that helped me tenfold. Like if I hadn't have done all of that previously, I definitely wouldn't have probably been able to sustain what I did. And even just, I worked 3 days a week. I paid part-time rent and I just made it 3 full days instead of working 5 days a week and doing, you know, only 2 mornings on one of the 2 days. Like it just,
So how did you then get up here and then move online to now be working fully remote?
So I manifested it. Call me delusional, but I manifested it. I, like I said, always knew I wanted to move up to the coast. So it was always kind of playing in the back of my mind. And I decided, I'd had the 6-month contract. I'm going to move to the coast at some point after this contract finishes. It was pretty flexible. Like I could have stayed 8 months. I probably could have left at 5 if I wanted to. New Year's was coming up. It was Christmas time. And I was like, right, I've been saying this and I know how easy it would be for me to stay exactly where I am because it's so comfortable. I've got the clients. It was New Year's. I was getting so many more inquiries. I actually closed my books because out of integrity, I knew I was leaving and I didn't want to sign on a new client knowing I wouldn't see out their full like 12 weeks or whatever the commitment was. So I closed my books. I didn't really vocalize why. But in my head, I was like, right, I want to move by sort of March, April. I just was like, what does the future version of myself do that works online, lives in the coast? How do I start, acting, embodying that? So I started waking up early on my days off. I'd go get a coffee. I'd be like hottest, most successful version of myself. She gets a coffee in the morning at sunrise and she goes for a beach walk. So in good old Bathurst, I'm going down to the river and I'm doing a lap of the river in the fog, in the freezing cold. And in my head, I'm walking along the beach.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
And I would I'd have my coffee and I'd think that. I'd be like, this is going to be my life on the beach. Like I'm going to be on the coast with my morning coffee, hot girl walk by the beach. I see it. I believe it. I just, started sort of looking for rentals. I started putting money away every week as if I was paying rent. Okay. I was paying rent into a rent account and I wasn't touching it because
that's what I
would have to be doing. That was honestly like a blessing because I wouldn't be here if I hadn't have done that. I joined a Facebook group and it was like private rentals in the sunny coast. My dream apartment popped up and I was not in a position where I thought I would be moving in the next sort of like 2 months. I had retreats booked in that I was like attending as a guest and I also was running my own event in Bathurst in like 2 months time. So I was like, all right, I can't move. But this place came up and it didn't have a date on it. So I was like, I'll just message them, fell in love with it. They seemed happy with me. And I was like, what's the date? And they were like, oh, the next girl's moving out next week. So probably in like 3 weeks. And I was like, okay, that doesn't really work.
It was a test.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah. I was just faced with this decision of, okay, do I just leave? Like, do I take this? Because it is literally what I want. And I had this, again, like intuitive gut feeling of like, this is exactly like, this is for me. This is my place. And when I saw that place pop up on my Facebook, I just knew. I knew straight away. I had this feeling, like that is mine. And it's so funny because I had the exact same feeling when I matched online with my American host family when I was 18. Their profile popped up and at the like you'd go through basically Tinder for families. Yeah. You'd be like swiping each other and like, I like you, I like
Show
you.
me videos of your kids.
Yeah, literally.
So I know how they behave.
It was videos of each other. Like, this is our family. This is who I am.
Bless.
At the time when I was 18, I matched with that family and I was like, I just knew intuitively as soon as I saw them come up, I was like, that's my family. And it was the same thing. I saw this apartment come up. I was like, that's my apartment. And so all of this was happening and I was like, oh my gosh, should I take it? I'm going to have to pay rent when I'm not even living in it. And so I kind of negotiated with them. Closed mouths don't get fed. If you don't ask, you won't know. I sort of gave them my situation. I was like, look, I love this apartment. I promise you, I am the best renter ever. You will not regret choosing me. But here's my dilemma. I can't move in until X date. I would be happy to start paying rent from a couple weeks beforehand. I really want just this. Let me know if that would work with you. And it was like maybe like 2 or 3 weeks after the current girl was moving out. And they had said, well, we do need some time obviously in between to clean it up, like whatever. So I was like, this could work. She gave me a call. It was actually on the day that I was running my event. She gave me a call and she was like, it's yours if you want it. And I was like, oh my God, my perfect day. In a flash, like in the matter of literally 2 weeks, I packed everything up. I told the gym I was leaving. I had to keep paying rent at the gym.
Oh shit.
Because I ended my you had to give, a certain amount of notice with your contract. So I was paying rent for a gym I wasn't using. That's fine. Packed up. I moved as many of my clients online that would, but there was quite a few of them understandably that wasn't for them. And I wasn't going to push someone into,
the online space if they wanted to be in person.
Yeah. Left quite a few clients behind, moved some online, and I already had, I'm going to say like 4 clients previously online at the time. So still had them. Moved up here and I was like, I'm just going to do whatever I have to do to make it work. It's got to work. Yeah, there's no other option. Yeah.
And
literally.
And you've got rent to pay and there's things, so it has to work.
It has to work. Came up here. I had a trip back home within the first month of moving here. So I was like, there's no point getting a job in a gym to start for 2 weeks and then say,
I've got to
sorry
go home.
clients, I know you just started. I'm going home for 2 weeks. See you soon. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to test the waters. I'm going to leave it. I'm just going to work for myself for this first like month, 6 weeks, and then reassess. Once I stepped off the gym floor and was working online, I was like, yep, I don't think I want to go back to that. The early mornings, I love early mornings. I wake up at 5 a.m. by choice when I have literally on a daily basis nowhere to be. I love mornings, but I love my mornings.
Yeah.
And so waking up previously, it was like waking up at 4:45 to go to the gym in the dark, in the cold, to train someone else in a gym with no natural lighting. Like it was just all artificial lights, no windows. And it just wasn't where I wanted to spend my time. As much as I loved coaching my clients in person, I'm a better person, I'm a better coach when I have my own morning, my routine. So I kind of was like, wait, I really like this. I think I want to stay fully online. And just having that flexibility, I went home. I got to visit my family. For the first time in my life, I was living somewhere where I had the opportunity that I wasn't bound by either being a 14-hour flight or 20-hour flight from my family, or bound by a 9 to 5 that I couldn't go and visit whenever I wanted.
It's an insane kind of freedom, and it's something that really sinks in when you do that first trip home and you realize that your laptop's in your bag and you just need to do a little bit of work. It's insane when you have only ever been conditioned to work in those 9 to 5s or those restricted schedules.
100%. I do not take it for granted one single bit now. I've been home so many times this year, about to go home again in a couple of weeks. I don't take it for granted because I've been in the situation where I did not have the choice. I've been years without seeing my family and friends, and now that I have the option to just jump on a flight, are you joking?
But you still get the life that you love up here. You've got your apartment. You've bought a lounge to put on your balcony, so you're stuck here now. And you get to have this, but then you also get to go home. Like, that's
it's literally
special.
The best of both worlds. Like you couldn't ask for anything better. It's been so hard. Oh yeah. Don't get me wrong. It's so easy to sit here and be like, I love my life. I can visit home whenever I want. I can do this. I can do that. I can whatever. It's been so difficult and it's tested me in so many ways, but I've just not given up. Yeah. And I've just kept on swimming. And there's been times where I've been like, oh my God, like especially those first few months, I was not even paying my rent every week. Like I was paying my rent, but I was paying half my rent from my income that I was earning that week and half from the money I'd been saving before I moved. Yeah. And that was just what I had to do to make it work. And it was so scary because I was like, well, what about when the money I saved runs out? Then what do I do? Because I'm still not making enough to pay my rent. Yeah. And it's just like trusting in yourself, really showing up, putting the work in, putting the effort in. And just knowing that even when it gets uncomfortable, that is when the universe is just testing you. Yeah. And that is when you have to prove that you can still show up. It literally is a test. Like you either give in or you keep going. Yeah. And that's what's going to set you up in the long run. Like you just can't give in. You need to just keep putting one foot in front of the other.
Yeah. Because it's human nature that when you're in an uncomfortable position, that every fiber in your being just wants to go back to comfort. As humans, we just want comfort. Yeah. And we know that in order to get to good things, if you want exceptional things, then you've got to, it's not an easy route. No. And I think like you said is, we can sit here and say we work remotely and we've got flexibility and yes, we've got all those things, but the trade-off is that it's not fucking easy to get here. No. Absolutely not. And there's a lot of people out there who look at the success online because that's what it is. It's the glamorous version of what everybody's doing. And so people just assume, oh, well, it's easy for them. They can do it. But not a lot of people, we don't talk enough about the behind the scenes of the hard parts of the transition. So what do you think is like the hardest thing for you in all of this that you've done, everything that you've learned? You're a very intuitive person, but it has been hard. So like what is the hardest thing for you, do you think?
I think one of the hardest things would just be moving through that season of self-doubt, proving to yourself it's like you know all these things. I think a really big wake-up call for me this year was that knowledge is power only if you actually apply the knowledge. Because I knew everything, done the marketing, done the business, had the business coach, yada, yada, yada. I know so much, but actually applying and doing, that's when you see the results and the changes. And it's like, you can sign up to a fitness coach, you can sign up to a sales program, but if you don't actually apply and you don't put the work in, you're not going to get the results to come back to you.
Yeah.
And whilst, yes, I say I manifested this and I truly wholly believe in manifestation, the laws of the universe, all of that type of thing, it doesn't come without action.
Yeah.
You have to take action on whatever it is that you want. Even if you don't know what the right action is to take, just take something.
You need to. And I feel like that is a theme for you. And I don't know if you know this about yourself, but even just sitting here, you have that intuition and you take messy action. You strike me as the kind of person that you're not having to do things when they're perfect. You will just do, and then you'll figure it out and look where you've come.
Yeah.
Because I have been working with this like perfectionism and that old identity that I had in everything had to be perfect before doing anything, which I've realized is not actually serving me. So it's about taking action. But you're exactly right. I think people get in this spiral of self-development and listening to podcasts and reading books and therapy and your fucking childhood trauma, and you kind of get stuck in this spiral of I know, but you don't do anything with it. And then you just get more in a spiral and you just feel worse about yourself.
Yeah, 100%. And I think I spent a lot of time in a similar position with like the perfectionism and I have to wait until I'm bigger, I have more followers, or even my photo shoot project, for example, it was something I wanted to do for so long. And I always had this idea in the back of my head. And then one day I was like, well, I just got to do it. I'm literally just going to do it. Like,
and how did it turn out?
Amazing.
Fucking awesome. It was awesome. Tell us what you're working on now, because you obviously you work with clients online. You've given us an insight into the kind of work that you do with women in that, body composition, mindset and everything. But yeah, what's the big focus for now? What's next for Ash?
Big priority of mine at the moment is I am running these events called the Photo Shoot Project. And essentially it's an 8-week challenge with a photo shoot included at the end of the challenge. So everyone comes together for a day. At the moment, running them in Sydney because that's where most of my clients are based, is down that New South Wales region area. I'd love to start running them up here on the coast as well. So doing a bit of both. I've also got some things in the pipelines for 2026 when it comes to mindset, because as I've said, that's played such a big role in where I've gotten to today. So working on that at the moment. I've got my podcast. I haven't even mentioned that. I have a podcast.
I'm going to be a guest too. I'm
which
excited.
I will have Emma on. So everyone make sure you pop over and listen to.
Do you know what I love about, and this is a big thing too, I haven't done an episode on it, and you even mentioned when you went overseas, like it's hard to make friends as an adult. But what I love about the culture up here in the coast is that everyone's really friendly, but there is so many opportunities to meet other people.
Yes.
Then when I was back home in Newcastle, I wasn't actively looking, but these kinds of groups were not a thing. But you and I would have never have met if we didn't put ourselves out there in an uncomfortable position, because I didn't know anyone, you didn't know anyone. We just got chatting, and then next minute you're on my podcast. Yeah. And I think it proves that if you don't put yourself out there in uncomfortable positions, you're not going to get the rewards from it. And I think what's cool is that not only do we have a friendship, but like we talk business, we talk sales, we talk mindset, we talk everything. And that has opened doors. We've been to that money mindset event together, which opens even more doors. Like you got a client out of it. So doing those things is always going to be a benefit.
And show me your friends and I'll show you your future.
Yeah.
So true.
So true.
You are a product of the 5 people you spend the most time around. Yeah. And I truly wholeheartedly believe that. Yeah. So it's like, if you are struggling and you're wanting to make a change, do something different, take a leap, push yourself outside of your comfort zone, do it, because that's where you're going to meet the people that are doing the exact same thing. And when you come together, then you're only going to propel each other forward. Yeah.
I reckon I have a lot of listeners who maybe are feeling stuck and maybe they want to try something different, build a business online. Maybe they want to be an online coach. Maybe they want to work in sales like I do, or just do something different. But they probably are thinking about the people around them. And it's difficult when you don't have cheerleaders in your corner. If you've got people who are going to be like, oh, is that actually going to work? Like, oh, what do you want to make money online? That's ridiculous. Oh, you have this big money goal? Oh, are you going to be able to do that? So what would you say to people who don't really have much of a support system, or maybe feel like if they were to do something outside that they're fearful of what other people think?
Coming from a small town and it's like everyone knows everyone, I've definitely like struggled with that. And it's like, oh my God, what are people going to think of me? Even when I started my Instagram page, my coaching page now, it originally was just like Ash Murph Active. And it was just like a fitness page where I shared my fitness journey. long before I was qualified. I've had the page for years. Even starting that, it was like, oh my God, people are going to judge me.
Yeah.
Do I even know what I'm doing? Like, oh my God. Feel the fear and do it anyway.
Yeah.
When you push yourself outside of your comfort zone and you make those changes, that's when you're going to meet your people that are actually aligned with you. And something that I always like stick to in my head is like, no one doing better than you is ever going to judge you. I would never take advice from someone that hasn't done what I want to do. So why would I take advice or feedback? You know, if I've got someone at home saying you shouldn't do that, that's too risky. Even sometimes my mum will say something to me, love you, mum. But I'm like, you haven't done what I want to do, so why would I take your advice? Not in a rude way or I'm better than you, but like it's so true.
Yeah.
Like
That's
you're
not
putting a
going to
pool in your
propel you.
backyard.
Yeah.
Are you going to listen to me if I tell you how to build your retaining wall when I've never built a retaining wall before? No.
No, because it would
So-
fucking fall down.
Exactly. People, especially people close to you, might try and stop you. It's coming from a place of love because maybe they haven't had that openness and awareness to what is possible and what is out there. You just got to do it.
Yeah. But I think actually people will surprise you as well, what I've realized too. I don't think I was ever worried about people not supporting me in my endeavors. And I've never had people who have been like, oh, what are you doing? I've really had a lot of cheerleaders in my corner, but I actually think that a lot of people maybe overthink the response that people will have when at the end of the day, people don't give a fuck about what you're doing.
Yes.
People will just stay in their own lane. Like I think about social media whenever I think about posting something. Oh, what are people going to think? And then I go, I don't give a fuck because they're going to look at it for 5 seconds, scroll, and then worry about what they're doing in their day. Because that's what I do. If you ask me, what did you see on Instagram today?
Don't know.
So,
I don't know. I can't
know.
tell you.
I probably saw a funny video that I sent to Dylan, but that's probably it. People don't give a shit.
Yes.
Fuck what people
so
think.
true. Their opinion is irrelevant. And I don't know if you've heard that saying, but it's like, we think we're the person that we think other people think we are. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
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 So it's like you go about your life and you're living your life and you're making decisions based off what you think someone else thinks about you.
Yeah.
And is going to think about you. But like, just because you think Sally thinks XYZ does not mean Sally thinks XYZ.
Sally probably
So
doesn't think XYZ.
Don't make your decision based off Sally thinking XYZ.
Because everybody has their own lens of the world and their own view of the world, and it comes from their beliefs and their own conditioning to things. And so you are just making assumptions. And if you, like you said, if you are making an assumption that this person thinks this about you, so you have to act in a certain way, it's not going to serve you.
No, absolutely not.
I love this. So insightful.
I
think we're going to leave it there, sis. Thank you so much for coming on the pod.
Thanks for having me.
Any passing words, anything that you want to bring up?
I think just coming back, messy action beats stagnant perfection. Just do it.
Yeah.
Take the leap.
Yeah. Because you'll learn.
Yeah.
You'll learn as you go. People have these dreams and maybe aspirations for things, but they keep themselves stuck. Yeah. So I think you're exactly right. Just do it. It'll be messy, but we'll come out the other side.
And like what you fail, okay, cool. What can you take from that? Like every failure is a lesson. If you knew you were 30 failures away from your dream ultimate goal, how much faster would you chase those failures? Yeah. I always like stick that in the back of my head.
You want to fail.
I'm failing on the weekly, okay? There is every week there's something I like quote unquote fail at, but so what? That's how we learn. That's how we improve. That's how we get better. If you don't take any action, you're never going to fail. You're never going to learn and you're going to stay stuck exactly where you are.
That's done. I don't even need to add anything. Thanks, love.
Thanks for having me.